This guy writes, how to become the kind of guy women want, not the guy they settle down with. Interesting that he can perceive that difference. Because oftentimes, like, women in maybe their early 30s, they're wanting to settle down, they're wanting to have a family. And so what they do is they give up on their dreams of being with kind of their love story dreams, and they settle down with like the nice guy that has a steady, secure job, and maybe he has a house, and maybe he has a decent amount of money, and maybe he has a retirement plan. But they like settle for that, and then it just kind of, I don't know. Often, well, I mean, why do 50% of relationships fail? Well, it's because like people aren't happy with their choices that they made, or they just don't understand relationships. And it's like it really requires, not need, it requires you learn about relationships and how attraction works, because it's like otherwise, it's like you're not going to know how to communicate. You're not going to know how to sustain a relationship long term if you don't know these things. But like, okay, how does attraction work with women? They like guys who do whatever they want. And so it's like, what's the appeal of the bad boy kind of guy? Well, he does whatever he wants, and he takes care of himself, and he defends himself, and he sticks up for himself, and sometimes he sticks up for her in his mission and his hobbies and his things like that, compared to the nice guy who will basically drop all of that and put his needs last and put his opinions last and say like, oh, you have this opinion, I'll just switch my opinion so I match yours, because it's like, but what it does is it makes her feel like he's not really strong in what he believes in. And when that's the case, and she feels like she can just totally walk all over him, have her way with him, it's like she doesn't respect him as much. And yeah, women want to be appreciated. And so it's like, understand that. She needs to be recognized, acknowledged, praised for the things that she does. And she also needs to feel understood. And so listen to, and she'll do things like, even you've probably noticed that women sometimes like, oh, what was I talking about earlier? Or what was this again? And I was talking about earlier in the conversation, just to make sure that you're listening, kind of deal. But it's very important to do that. And then also she needs to feel safe. And that kind of falls into the category of the guy kind of doing what he wants and sticking up for himself and sticking up for his emotions. Or when she does something that's just like something bitchy, he'll stick up for that. He'll say, you know, I can't really tolerate that, or I can't really tolerate you acting that way towards me, and that's not okay. Compared to like the nice guy or whatever says like, well, what did I do wrong? I'm so sorry. Please don't leave me, kind of attitude. And then she's like, ew, kind of like, and then being masculine, so I'm being mission driven. It's like, why are women attracted to those like really successful guys? Well, because it's like they're mission driven and they have a purpose. And so having that is very important as far as maintaining that masculine frame. Yeah, and I always say it's like masculine frame comes from two main things, two main operating systems, and your mindset. That's being mission driven. And all your decisions are based off of your mission, not based off of necessarily her. And so it's like, well, if she wants you to stop something, then if it relates to your mission, it's like you can't just say, well, she wants you to stay or something like that, but it's like, you've got to go to this business trip or whatever. And it's like, you know, I can't stay with you. I've got to go on my mission. I choose my mission. So that is important, and also being able to walk away and mean it. And so it's like, she must know that if she pushes you far enough, and she basically, maybe something like she cheats on you or whatever, she must know that you can walk away from her and you will be just fine without her. And when that dynamic is there, it creates a healthy environment. It's like, and it creates your responses much stronger. It puts you into more of a leadership role. So those are some important things to really build her attraction. And I cover that and some more concepts in greater detail in the products that you can get in the description. Um, and with that, let's continue on. Pretty long post here. I might just read a paragraph. I have been told I'm the kind of guy women settle down for in their 40s. Probably not a compliment. So it's like, what I think of with that is just like, well, do you really want to be that guy who it takes women into their 40s and it's like, oh, now I'm like last leg. It's like, oh, finally, fine, I'll settle kind of deal. It's like, that doesn't make you feel that great. Not the guy they have fun with in their 20s. Yeah, but don't confuse like the bad boy guy who's just having fun in their 20s. It's like you need some of those concepts to really maintain that desire in a relationship. You can't just get into like, oh, I'm going to pick one or the other. It's not the case. It's like you really need to apply some of those things. You need the certainty, which you get kind of with the guy people would settle down in their mid 40s. And then you need the uncertainty, the variety, the excitement, the sometimes danger that you'd experience with like the type of like bad boy in her 20s. And so it needs to be a mix of both to really have a healthy environment where you get that certainty that really helps a family life thrive, and then also the uncertainty that is really a thriving place for desire and that sexual attraction. And if you don't have both, I mean, it's like you can't really maintain that relationship. Too often, people get caught in like long-term marriages that they don't have sex for many, many years. And it's like there's just no desire and they're kind of miserable. They don't really feel like they're desired much or wanted. And so they even leave in some situations like that, or they just stay in a situation where it's like, well, this is how it's always been, but I feel horrible about myself in this relationship, but it's how it's always been, so I'll just stay in here. And that's why I don't think, well, I think there is a respect part of staying in a relationship for a very long time, but it's not necessarily a gauge of how successful a relationship is as far as how long you stay, because oftentimes people stay in those relationships but they're just miserable. Let's continue. I've been on dates and kissed a few women, but that's all. Yeah. So, I mean, if you're probably just not going for it. It's like you're probably just not going and making a move. And that confidence comes from one knowing how to read her attraction in you, because she's always going to give you those signals. So she's going to tell you when it's okay to initiate physical contact, hold her hand, kiss her, ask her back to someplace private. Yeah, and when that's the case, when you can read her attraction towards you, when she's inviting you, that's really what it is. When she's giving you those signals, she's inviting you to make a move. And when you could just pick up on that, it's like it eliminates the risk. And it seems like you might have trouble with that risk thing because it's like you don't know when she's doing that, when she's inviting you. And so you're just blindly trying to guess when it's okay to make a move. And that makes you fearful, and that makes you not want to even try. Yeah. He says, I know I wasn't that confident. I was too available and accommodating. Well, you're recognizing that too. It's like when a guy is super available, it almost communicates it's like his time isn't that valuable, or he's not busy, or he's not on his mission, or he's too focused on her and not, that on his mission. And scarcity creates value. It really does occur. And think of relationships in a lot of regards like negotiations. I was naive and too trusting. So he probably got hurt. He was probably chosen. She probably chose some other guy over him. And I was too nice when they would clearly treat me badly. Yeah, it's like some guys is like they get cheated on and they start apologizing because they're like, oh, what? I'm so sorry that I wasn't good enough kind of deal. It's like, and then after that point on, it's like she's totally disrespectful towards him and she can walk all over him because he's not sticking up for himself. Yeah, it's a crappy place to be because it doesn't make you feel very confident, and it makes you feel almost like trapped in a relationship. When I should have walked away and said, "Well, you know it, dude. It's like you're touching on some of the concepts, the key concepts I talk about, being able to walk away and mean it." It's like, well, when you can walk away and mean it, and then she starts to wonder about you. Say it was like a minor offense or whatever, or she was just like flaky or wasn't sure about being with it. You walk away. It shows a lot of strength if you can actually do that and mean it. And then when she feels that strength, when she feels she can resist, then you can resist her. That's another big one. Then she almost gets curious about you. Then she reaches out, and then that's an opportunity for you to set a definite date. I know I'm not a real man. Well, you are, dude. You just don't know the patterns that raise attraction because of my lack of experience and because of my personality. I think you're chilling, dude. It's like it's just you're 26, and you got time to learn this stuff. And so learn it, dude, to commit to it. And that's why I create the products there. So you can get those in the description and really take that first step.